tell you a very quick story about a conference I did about 15 years ago. It was a real estate conference in Barcelona, and I was the only FM guy there. And I thought I would tell a bit of a joke to relax that they had to tolerate this guy talking about FM. And so I said to them, actually, property management and real estate management is a subset of facilities management. And I thought that was quite amusing, but there was not one smile in the audience. But the interesting thing about that story is at the very end of the conference, there was a global corporate real estate guy from a major corporation who actually turned around and said, "You're right, but," and the big but was, nobody's going to take you guys seriously until you have standards that are internationally recognized. And it was that comment that started me down the path of standards in FM. So let me take you on the journey so far. Just to explain, if you don't understand the standards world, in the UK we have a national standards body called the BSI. They are the UK national standards body. In Europe we have a body called CEN, and CEN is a European level body of which all the national standards bodies in Europe belong. So if CEN brings out a standard, UK must comply, as with the other 29 countries in Europe who belong to CEN. Above CEN you have the ISO standards organisation. You'll all be familiar with ISO 9001, so that is an international worldwide standards body. So you've got this hierarchy in the standards world. So in 2003 we created CEN Technical Committee 348, and that was for facilities management. That's when we started this journey, a long time ago. But developing standards takes a long time, for good reason. From 2006 through to 2012, we delivered 7 standards out of Europe. In 2011, on the back of the work we did in Europe, we created the ISO Technical Committee 267. The first output from that committee is what happened on the 31st of March this year. That's how robust making standards is, because you're bringing people from all over the world together to debate and discuss everything that's in that document. And as you can imagine, that creates lots of challenges, not just from understanding and maturity, but from language. For example, in the ISO committee, when we started to talk about the vocabulary that we use in the FM world, we discovered we couldn't call the demand organisations clients and customers. In Asia, that doesn't mean anything. They don't understand the words. So we had to find a different terminology to use that could be internationally understood. Today, there are 42 countries involved in developing standards in facilities management. When we formed this committee in 2011, all the members of the ISO community have the right to participate in the development of these standards. Because it was us that proposed the formation of this committee, we get first choice at chairing it and managing it. There were 2 other countries that volunteered to chair it and manage it. The Germans, as soon as we did it, we'll run this because we're the best at running everything. The other country that wanted to chair it was China. If that's not a message for us in the West, we need to wake up. We need to grab that message, big time. The opportunity is fantastic. Here's the other countries who are not participating in the work, but they're connected to the work. So everything that we're doing in that space, they are receiving so that they understand what we're doing. Look at the opportunity post-Brexit that's opening up for us in this sector. Okay. The first standard published 31st of March, it's about the language that we use. It's a standard that does nothing else but say, here's the terminology that we're going to use in FM standards. It's actually the building block to do anything else with. Not terribly exciting, but important. The second standard that was done, a very, very good standard. Guidance on strategic sourcing and FM agreements. We were talking earlier about being treated as a commodity. We were talking earlier about government procurement and that's where some of the problems start. We now have an international standard that's been published about how to do that. It's not prescriptive, it's descriptive. It's about, here are all the things you should discuss before you enter into an agreement. The one that hasn't been published yet is not a standard, it's a technical report. And it's more about, this is what we mean by FM, and here's some of the key concepts, and here's some of the benefits. They're published, they're available, you can go out and get them today from BSI. Okay? This is the one I want to talk to you about. Remember this number, 41,001. This is a management system standard. This is a different document to the ones I've just been talking about. The ones I've just been talking about are technical standards. They're siloed, if you like. They take a particular subject and they develop it and they communicate it. A management system standard is a horizontal standard. It applies to every sector, every type of organisation, and it's about how we, as professionals in FM, should deliver what we're going to deliver. The structure within this standard is this. It's around leadership, it's around planning, organisational structure, support, operation, performance evaluation. In the ISO world, we follow the Plan, Do, Check, Act strategy, so we've categorised the standard in that manner. That standard will be published in February 2018. That's our target. This is the bit I want to really talk about. Most of you, I think, in the audience would be aware of 9001. It's the biggest selling international standard in the world. I'm going to show you some facts and figures about that standard, which is a management system standard, and the impact it has had worldwide. This was a study that was carried out by BSI. People who adopted 9001 as a standard and were certified outperformed their market equivalents that didn't apply it by 100%. 55% declared that they achieved cost savings. 75% declared that they improved their operations. 75% improved their customer service delivery and loyalty. 71% acquired new customers and retained existing clients. They believe because they applied the management system standard. If it can allow your organisation to achieve some of those impacts, that's the real reason to take best knowledge and apply it to improve what you do. As FMs, that's our business, that's our job. Our job is to innovate. Our job is not just to have the oil can and keep the wheels turning, it's about making them turn faster and easier. And if that's not what we're all there for, then we're in the wrong profession, because that's facilities management.